Hi guys, how are you doing? Since the beginning of March month, everybody has started talking about tax declaration, tax return filing and all. Even me and my husband did a lot of research for our own tax declaration filing, and thus I want to share that research with you so that everybody can get benefited with it. So what I'm going to cover in this video is, first, who are the tax residents, who are the people that they have to file the tax returns. Second, what are the different components of your income and components of your expenses or liabilities that you should declare, because of which you might get some tax benefit. And third is, what are the timelines, what is the entire process, when does the window opens, when does it get closed, when do you have to submit the tax filing form, and when will you get the returns from the Skatteverket team. But before that, a brief introduction about myself. My name is Pranali. I am from India. I have also lived in Dubai, and on this channel I am sharing my experiences, my learnings and my journey.
Basic question of like who are the tax resident in Sweden. So only simple definition of this is like the day when you arrive over here, you become a tax resident over here. And probably let's consider some couple of examples. Like first, suppose you came over here with a job. So anyways, you are getting a salary, so you are a tax resident. Apart from this, if suppose even if you don't have a job over here, you might be having something which is called as a local income as well, which is nothing but you might be getting some child benefit even though you don't have a salary as such. Maybe this is a case which is more applicable for the dependent one. You might still be receiving some child benefits, or maybe something from arbetsförmedling as well. So all those will be your local income, and then you are liable to pay taxes, or at least declare your taxes. Apart from this, suppose you came over here and then previously you were working back in India or investing in India or maybe any other country, and those investments or those bank accounts what you hold globally, they might be giving you some benefits, or maybe you have a earning in terms of like interest, or maybe like a dividend from those stocks or those bonds what you hold with you in some foreign land apart from Sweden. So those part will be nothing but your global income. So if, just to summarize this, if you are working over here, you are getting a salary, you are a tax resident. If you have a earning in any foreign land, maybe India, maybe US, or anywhere you are coming from, in terms of like having a bank account, getting interest or dividend, you are liable to pay that. So this is a part of global income. Apart from this, even if you are a dependent, or irrespective of whether you have a job or whether you don't have a job, then probably you might be getting some benefits like child benefits or arbetsförmedling, etc., etc. So all those will make you a tax resident over here because you are still having a local income.
Now, talking a little bit about the process and timelines, how does it works? So it starts from the first week of March. So from the first week of March, you will start getting your declaration form either in your digital mailbox or through physical copy. You should get your form by 15th of April in any case, either digitally or physically. In any case, 15th April is the last date. You should get it. And finally, if you don't get the form till 15th of April, what you can do is you can go to the Skatteverket website, you can log in there and you can download your tax declaration. Skatteverket team might have uploaded your tax declaration form there. And finally, if you do not find your form over there, declaration form over there, you can just call or write an email to Skatteverket that I haven't received it and these are my details. So your case will be considered further. Now, once you have that form, the window for actual declaration window opens on 15th of March, and from 15th of March you can start declaring your incomes and your expenses. If you approve that form as is without making any changes in that form by 30th of March, in that case you will get your returns, tax returns immediately, maybe in the month of April or something if you don't have any exception cases. And if you do any kind of changes in that form in terms of your expenses or in terms of your incomes, in that case your tax returns might, you will get your tax returns might be in the month of June or something like that. And finally, in any case, without making any changes or with making any changes, you should submit that tax declaration form by 2nd of May in any cases. So that's the last date. You should submit your tax declaration form by 2nd of May. And if you have to pay some fees to Skatteverket, if you have to pay some tax to the Skatteverket instead of getting return from Skatteverket, in that case, you should do that payment. You should submit that taxes to Skatteverket by 3rd of May. So that's the last date. 2nd May is your last day to submit that form, and 3rd May is the last day to pay the taxes to Skatteverket.
Hi again. So now in this video you have already seen who is the tax resident, who is supposed to declare the taxes over here, and the second part which was covered was like important dates. Now let's go to the main part, which is like what should be declared in that form. But then before we go into that, I just wanted to tell you one thing. It is not that complicated. It is very simple to understand. We just need to see what exactly you are doing back in your country. Just like in India, we were declaring two different things, expenses and income. So it's more about that. So now let's talk more about the form and what are the different components of it. And before we go into that, just try to understand there are always two components. Something which is like an income and another one is like expense. So either, just like I have explained previously as well, there can be something which is like a local income, local expense. There can be something like global income or global expense. So now first focus on the local part, which is like whatever earnings or expenses you are incurring or you are paying over here in Sweden. So first let's talk with the income part. So first income part, in income you might be having some earnings which you are getting from your investments, like stock investments or mutual funds or funds investment or bonds investment. So if you have a ISK account, which is very common over here, then you don't need to do anything on that, because that is anyways connected to this particular form, and Skatteverket has all the detail of it. So you don't need to worry about that particularly, because that will anyways appear on your form. And then we are already aware how exactly that is to be done, but then someday we'll prepare a video on that part as well, how exactly ISK accounts are taxed. But then all this coming back to our main topic, ISK account will be over there. But then supposingly you also have a AF account, then you need to declare it manually, not on the form, but then there will be another form which is connected to this particularly, and that amount will appear on this particular form, which is income declaration. So this is one type of income which you need to declare. The second type of income is from hobby, or maybe some extra things which you are trying to do to earn something extra. So probably you might be a YouTuber, or you might be doing some occasional courses which you are providing, and then you have earning from that. So that's what you need to declare as well. Or maybe supposingly you run maybe a catering service as well. You're serving food or you are selling some food. So probably those things should be declared over here. So again, there are different clauses, because there you might have heard the seasonal profession over here of like cherry picking as well. So there are some limits as well. There is some cap as well over there. So if you earn this much amount within a year, then you are exempt from taxes. But then if you earn above that, but then yeah, of course you need to visit Skatteverket and you need to see what exactly is that cap for cherry picker space specifically. But then apart from this, you have any hobby income, you need to declare that. So these are the two main declaration which you need to do, because salary part is anyways captured, but then these are the two part which you call as your income. But then now let's go to the expense part. So in expenses, probably the first thing which you can claim back, or you will get a tax reduction on that or deduction on that, is your travel expense. Supposingly for this year it has been capped at like 11,000 SEK. So if you incur more expenses in more than 11,000 in a particular year, then you can avail this one. So whatever you earn or you spend above that, it will come back to you. So you will have a tax deduction on that. We have just covered about like your first expense part, which was your travel. Now the second one is like supposingly you have a double accommodation. The double accommodation in terms of like you are staying away from your family, which is at least 50 kilometers away from you. All these details are again anyways available on Skatteverket, but then in that time you are anyways bearing a cost of having like paying two different rents, or maybe like different outgift of that particular property and this particular property. So then you are liable to claim it back. So this is another type of expense which you can claim, and then you can save taxes on that. So that is nothing but called as double housing or double accommodation. So now we have talked about the local expenses and local income part. Now let's focus more on the global part. So in global part, again there will be two buckets. One bucket is like your income part, and another will be your expenses. So what you need to declare, if suppose I'm walking over here, let's take an example. If suppose I'm walking in Sweden, but then I own a house back in India, and I'm getting rent for that one, so I need to declare it over here that okay, I have a global income, I'm getting rent over there back in India, and the limit for that, or the exempted amount for that, is like 40,000 SEK. So for a year, yeah, 40,000 SEK for a year. But irrespective of that, it's always recommended to declare that amount, whether it is more than that or whether it is less than that. So they are aware that you are having a global income. And so this is one of the component, and then it will get taxed anyways if it is above 40,000 SEK. And then the second part is like just like you had the same part over here in local incomes as well, which was more about like investments. Suppose you have an investment in stocks, bonds, or mutual funds back in India or US or anywhere else, then that's the component which you need to declare of whatever gains you have made in that particular year. So you need to declare that part as well, that okay, I have gained this much back in India. But then remember, this gains is like when you book the profits, not when you hold it. So the best recommendation is, till the time you are here, don't sell off any of your stocks or any of your mutual funds, so that you don't need to pay additional taxes on that, because back in India also you are going to pay taxes, and here as well. But then of course there is some DTAA, double taxation agreement between these two countries, so you won't be like double taxed. But then of course you just need to declare it over here as well. Then these are the two kind of incomes which you might have from like a global income. And now let's talk about the most interesting part about like your global expenses and how you can claim it. So supposingly back in India you own a house and you are paying a EMI on that, like you have a home loan, or maybe for example like you might also have a personal loan, or you might have a car loan. So you can claim that deduction back over here, tax deduction. But then it is only on the interest part what you are paying back on that particular loan. So but then one important thing over here you need to remember is like the financial year is different in Sweden and different in India. So Sweden follows like Jan to December, whereas India follows from April to March. So when you do your calculations, you need to calculate everything from expenses made from Jan to December, and you need to calculate your interest part across all these months, add it up, convert it to SEK, use the conversion rate which is an average for across these 12 months, and then you can declare this particular amount. So that is your one of the expense which you can claim it back over here. So now we talked about all the components which are required to be declared. I think the most easiest part is about your local things, because you can declare it. There is a dedicated column where you are supposed to declare that. But then when it comes to your global part, then there is bit of a trick what you need to do. So on the form itself, if you just scroll down, once you start declaring, you'll find 17th point, which is nothing but other information. So in other information you need to declare all these things which are like global, and you need to declare it individually in terms of like you just need to write a kind of letter over there, like okay, I have rented income back in India, so that you are stating where exactly you have this income and what kind of income is that. And then you need to provide the total amount which you are declaring or which you are claiming, so that it is easy for the case officer to understand what you are trying to convey. Remember one thing, Sweden runs on trust factor. So Skatteverket is not going to ask you receipt or upload a receipt kind of stuff over here. But then if they raise such kind of queries, then you should be ready to submit all the documentations what you have. So my humble suggestion to you, just declare whatever you have paid, whatever rent receipt you might have, whatever tax declaration statements you have, or maybe income statements. Once you get the interest declaration or the EMI schedule from your banks, just declare those things as it is and make a copy of that, save it. Whenever you are asked for it, just submit it to them. But then yeah, this is all about where you should declare. Again, I'm repeating, it is the 17th point on the declaration, which is nothing but other information. I'm just translating it. There might be it might be in Swedish, but then remember 17, and it's a comment column wherein you can write all these things. Just be precise, be clear what exactly you are going to write over there. Yeah, one more thing which I wanted to share from my personal experience, which was like I came over here. It was like almost end of November, and like 2 years back, and then it was a case like I got paid for hardly like 5 or 6 days, and so my taxable income was much lesser than the minimum amount which you should have to pay any taxes as such over here. And so I was supposed to be completely exempted, but then usually what happens is like it's the employer who directly pays your taxes before paying you the salary. So it was anyways deducted, and so I was supposed to get back such amount, like completely that amount. And such kind of tax processing is usually done in month of August, so you will get the amount directly back without filling any form or doing anything like declaration as such. So it is quite simple to do that, but then you just need to call Skatteverket once and just tell these things to them, and they will have this same answers to you as well, that okay, you will get your tax back in month of August, because there is no need to file any taxes, because I think that year the minimum pay was for a year was like 19,200, and so whatever tax was deducted for my 5 days of working was completely paid back to me. So yeah, that's it for the declaration part. And one more thing which I wanted to share with you all is like investing in Sweden or investing in stock market of Sweden. And I think my personal experience says that it is a bit tricky when it comes to understanding of language, understanding of different platforms, because back in India we get so many options as well. And so yeah, so you can look forward to a video which will soon upload on this channel again, in which we'll be talking more about different types of accounts, different types of brokers what we have, and how you can invest your money in Sweden as well.
And finally guys, thank you so much for watching till here, and whatever information we have shared is completely based on our personal experiences and personal research. If you find any discrepancies, you can write us back in comment section. We would love to explore it. And thank you so much for watching till here. Please stay tuned.